Hello. Hello, 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 hello. 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 Can you see me? The light seems to be very, very creepy and weird. Oh my god. Oh boy. Hello everyone. How is it going today? Yeah, I mean, my brother said, oh, I set up everything. You just sleep for today, and tonight, hopefully, you check all these clips. He has so many clips for me, and I watched one of them. I watched Disturbing Things from Around the Internet Part 1. But there is Chronicles of Reddit 1, 2. There is Disturbing Things from Around the Internet from 2 to 12. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy, 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 boy. Okay. We start with the Chronicles of Reddit Volume 1. Hopefully everything is alright here. Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Running this channel involves a lot of digging, prowling, exploring down in the darkest corners of the internet. Throughout the years, we've gone down some of the internet's wildest rabbit holes in our internet investigation videos, dug through various cursed and cult-related video game urban legends and
What
console
the fuck is
conspiracies,
this?
and experienced some of the wildest real-life videos, events, and social media posts out there in Disturbing Things. While this catalog of series effectively spans a wide portion of the creepier side of the web, there's a glaring chasm of content out there that, surprisingly, doesn't seem to fit the mold that I've created for any of these. I throw a lot of potential topics away. Topics that have unnerved me and would most likely unnerve you because they're just weird. And that's where this series comes in. Welcome to episode 1 of Chronicles of Reddit, a series dedicated to diving into the odd, strange, and bizarre part of the internet that doesn't quite fit the bill for a Disturbing Things episode or a full-fledged video.
Okay.
While the case, this series will still carry an anthology format and will be a more casual, analytical dive into the less disturbing, more puzzling mysteries on Reddit that I've stumbled upon in my hunts for video topics.
A perfect way to start this. Jesus Christ.
Without further ado, sit back because tonight, we're diving into 3 perplexing mysteries that I've recently discovered from Reddit.
"12 stores."
To lead off on this series, I'd like to redirect your attention to the Too Afraid to Ask subreddit. As the name suggests, the board's primary purpose is to house the various questions that one wouldn't be keen on asking publicly.
Okay.
There's a user that visited there a few months ago by the name of Iceman Throwaway 123. Appearing to be a big fan of PCs and graphics cards, evident by his multi-month Reddit history, he was active in discussions spanning various boards related to the topic. Strangely, on July 29th of 2019, he'd make a post out of left field that would quickly climb its way to the top of Too Afraid to Ask. That morning, at 10:55 a.m., he'd submit it with the title, 12 mysterious and identical stores open on my street. What could be happening? It reads as follows. I live just outside a big city in what
From
resembles a
same
suburban
company.
main street. Like many suburban main streets, retail business has been rough and they've all closed down. After a month of nothingness, suddenly 12, yes, a dozen, identical convenience stores pop up. They look the same, they aim for the same floor plan, and they sell the same products at the same prices. The names are all tiny variations of each other, like Town Name Mart or Market of Town Name, and all clearly bought their signs from the same place as the fonts, colors, size, and shapes are identical. These stores see no business, yet have large staff numbers and are surviving way longer than the former stores that closed on this street. When I enter one, they all stare at me while I shop. I don't usually get nervous, but it feels like they're staring threateningly rather than intently. They only accept cash unless you pay some $50. Most of their products are Walmart brand great value products being resold for higher prices. Most of the products are expired food products. I bought bread from one without checking because I was in a rush, and it turned out that it was 2 months expired.
How the fuck are they in business
Upon
then?
returning to show them, I found that the entire shelf was expired goods. What was even grosser was the dairy cooler, which had ancient milk products. I'm so confused. I feel like I'm in an episode of The Twilight Zone. What's probably happening here?
I don't know. Maybe
This
they're
post
making
lit up like a
drugs
wildfire.
underneath.
Users chimed in
Breaking
inquiring
Bad?
on details about his findings, and Iceman seemed to be fine with giving further details to help the case. Strangely, though, he was extremely hesitant to share anything that would give investigators even the slightest clue at the state or region in which he lives, which threw a huge wrench in figuring this out. Before we get to that though, if we're assuming his story is legitimate, what's actually going on here?
Something underneath.
In one of his many follow-up comments,
the
Iceman claimed
stores?
various things, such as the fact that, quote, all the stores have expired food and seem to refresh every few weeks. And also, the bread I bought was a nasty shade of green on the inside.
Mold.
It seemed, at least to me, that this could have been a front for some sort of money laundering scheme. It all appears to check out as well. Create what appears to be a legitimate business in hopes of circulating your cash flow and buy back into your own store. Considering that this is what OP considers an old town, they might have figured that people simply wouldn't question it. Regardless though, this is just one theory in and of itself. Another Redditor actually suggested something that might be even more plausible. The comment submitted by a user named Infier reads as follows. Food stamp fraud. It's not a good fit for money laundering. The last thing you'd want for money laundering is a business with traceable inventory. There's probably some organization that's buying food stamps or fraudulently getting EBT cards and using them to charge fake food at these stores. Now, considering that the food stamp black market is and has been on the rise.
What the fuck is the food stamps? The price tags?
This could very well explain
What?
this. Buy food stamps for cash, less than their value, and charge them fully on the overpriced and expired goods at your store. Makes sense. So case closed, right? Well, I'd say so. However, there's one more layer to this that makes this entire situation a bit stranger.
Okay.
Let's back up for a second. Iceman Throwaway, contrary to his name, actually has an extensive multi-month post history like we mentioned prior. He was incredibly active on various PC and graphics card related subreddits. However, the last post he ever made was this one. As of today, he's completely gone, vanished entirely from Reddit. Of course, this added fuel to an already burning flame of utter curiosity.
What the fuck?
And so the question lingered in the back of my mind. What happened to Iceman?
Yeah.
In one of his comment responses to people asking about this, he claimed that he'd go back to the streets and take pictures to substantiate his claims. But those never actually materialized. This ended up leading to two predominant theories. On one hand,
killed him.
some were conjecturing that he could have been caught taking photos and was possibly reprimanded or killed. On the other, though, many were shouting hoax. Personally, I'm led to believe the latter. While Iceman's sudden disappearance after making this post is suspect, at the end of the day, his name is Iceman Throwaway. For all we know, he He could have easily started this account with the full intention of shutting it down at some point thereafter. And who knows, he could have simply wanted to go out with a bang, leaving his everlasting mark on the subreddit. A 5-month-long post history really isn't that long at all in the grand scheme of things, and the sheer plausibility of this being an alternate account really drives this theory home. With the lack of any location information, combined with the absence of images or any search results from other people that might be suspicious of 12 sketchy stores that might have randomly popped up in their town, it seems, at least to me, that this was all a fabricated story that grew larger than Iceman ever thought it would.
Okay.
While intriguing, all we can really do is wait. On one hand, if he does return to Reddit with photo or location proof, then that will lead us down another intriguing rabbit hole in and of itself.
Bro, don't talk about these rabbit
then we're
holes.
simply
Jesus
left
Christ.
with another case of OP not delivering, leaving this entire situation shrouded in mystery as one of the weirder and more perplexing oddities that came and went faster than we could ever find the answers for. I'm not sure about you, but I'll definitely be following this. For all we know, I could be wrong, but it looks like only time will tell.
Okay. The thing is, if he wanted to make a hoax, why would he create a throwaway account? And what do you even name it throwaway? That basically means that he just wanted to give out some information. Why would you make a throwaway account if you want to just... What do you think? It was a hoax or they killed him? Okay, let's see. Let's continue. "72 hours.
This next entry involves an odd situation that played out on the legal advice subreddit about 5 years ago. At about 6 a.m. on Tuesday, February 24th of 2015, a user by the name of Concerned Hubs would make a post with the title, "Need advice on talking to police regarding my wife." It reads the following. "My wife hasn't returned home since she went out shopping late Saturday. It's getting to the point where I should call the police to file a missing persons report. I'd like to be as helpful as possible when speaking to the cops, but I want to avoid triggering any suspicions about me.
Excuse me?
I hear a lot of stories of husbands being falsely accused when something happens. Should I only give them info in response to certain questions? Is there anything else I shouldn't bring up? I'm planning on contacting the police tomorrow morning. I can't postpone much longer as I'm getting messages asking about her, and I don't want to say anything to
Why
her
did
friends
you
or
even
family
postpone in the
until I file
beginning?
the report first. I now realize that I should have talked to her friends and family first, but at this point, I don't want to explain why I didn't file a report yet."
What the fuck? Did this just
Yes.
fucking kill her wife? This is so weird!
And like gas on a flame, the comments blew up. "So where'd you hide her body? Seriously, just from this fucked up post, I think you killed her.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
There's absolutely nothing you can say or do to avoid triggering suspicion. You absolutely should call the cops. Don't do it tomorrow. Do it right now.
Oh my god.
Unless your wife is in the habit of disappearing for days at a time. What the fuck are you thinking? If I last heard from mine Saturday, I'd be totally freaking out." Mods chimed in too. "This is, if true, one of the most fucked up posts I've ever seen on here, and that's really saying something. Your wife disappears for 48 hours, and you have not yet contacted authorities, when most people would do it within a few hours. You haven't contacted her friends and family to ask if they've seen her, or to let them know there's a problem. Even now, You plan to contact police tomorrow morning, waiting yet another 12 hours for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Before contacting police, however, your main concern is to avoid suspicion.
This is even the biggest, either biggest wuss ever, or killed her, or is just plain fucking stupid.
On yourself.
What?
You're asking about procedural questions for talking to police, when for all you know, your wife could be kidnapped, injured, or worse. You demonstrate no concern for her safety whatsoever, and only concern for yourself. I'm sure you get the picture by this point. This so-called plea for help was raising red flags left and right. Some even compared this situation to the plot of Gone Girl, as he appears to simply be putting on a front, acting like he's worried about his wife. But the thing is, he's 3 days too late. Remember how I told you that he posted this on a Tuesday? Yeah, he waited that long. And so he sends out comment after comment after comment, defending himself from the onslaught of responses that were grilling him for his inaction. Sorry, I'm a bit sensitive right now. I've never been charged with abusing my wife. I did not kill her. She is not dead.
Oh, okay. I'm convinced. What the fuck? What the fuck is this dude's? What the fuck? Okay, shit, he definitely fucking killed her. Or worse. She's not dead. See my updates to the original post. I did not kill her. Uh-huh. Concerned Hob. Yeah, you're concerned, right? About your fucking self. What the fuck is this?
And a few hours later, he'd post an update. Update. It turns out that she left a note for me saying that she was leaving town for a while to spend time with an old friend, so there's no need to report her missing as of now.
And you found it now? You didn't fucking look in the house?
I'm going to have my wife's best friend make some calls to my wife's family and friends to let them know that she's okay.
Okay. So not even he has the balls to call the family. Fucking.
Now my first thought when I read this was that she really must be old-fashioned. With the advent of the modern smartphone having happened about 8 years prior,
yeah, and that!
You would think that something as primitive as a note would be insufficient notice for your significant other taking some sort of random vacation out of nowhere. This single detail led me to question whether it actually exists or is simply a decoy to get people to calm down. This is further supported by the fact that he stated that she'd been missing since she, quote, went out shopping late Saturday night. You'd think that if this were the case, and she decided to get up and leave from shopping on some sort of random vacation out of nowhere, a simple text message, a phone call, or anything for that matter would be a more effective way to give someone a heads up. But hey, to each their own. Regardless, though, according to the OP at least, she ended up being okay. Whether or not this was just a front to get people off his back or to allow the conversation to die down, this post and situation stands as a testament to the fact that if you act sketchy in an attempt at absolving yourself of suspicion, then suspicion just might find its way to you.
Yeah, it might. What the fuck? What the fuck? This dude definitely either killed her or was just wanted to create a fucking mayhem in Reddit. Wow. Jesus Christ. Xbox? No, that's PlayStation 2.
Last up is something that's intrigued me for months. I've considered making a full video on this, fleshing out the sheer mystery that we're about to get into, but given the fact that I haven't been able to find any concrete leads on it since I found it, it's just sat there on my topic list, totally untouched. Allow me to introduce you to the mysterious farming game that's puzzled the Tip of My Joystick subreddit for about 3 years now.
Very fun. What?
Tip of My Joystick, if you're unaware, is a play on the name of the Tip of My Tongue subreddits, which primarily focuses on hunting down the source of various things that people vaguely remember. Typically, someone will give a detail about something, and Redditors will jump in to suggest some answers as to what it could be. In April of 2016, a post was made by a user named Sparta213 who was inquiring on a video game that was, quote, kind of like Harvest Moon. It reads as follows.
Okay.
I know almost nothing about this game. All I can remember is that it's kind of like Harvest Moon, but with a dark twist. The game starts out with you and your wife. One night you get into a fight and you end up stabbing her to death. Now, the game revolves around you farming to stay alive while trying to keep the town from finding out about the incident that happened. Every now and then, the cops come to search your house and you have to hide her corpse.
That's very intriguing, but okay.
Now, going by the premise,
what?
this undoubtedly sounds like an eerie take on something like Stardew Valley. While this merely garnered just around 100 upvotes and 39 comments, interest in tracking this thing down, while scant, was there. Redditors jumped in, postulating that it could potentially be a flash game, an old farming sim named Scapeland, or even a top-down RPG named Wild Season. While these are all solid contenders, they all seem to lack at least one of the details outlined by the OP. For instance, Scapeland is a 3D farming sim that bears a mechanic centering on the police hunting you down at nights, however it lacks the grim killing your wife parts. Wild Season is a top-down pixelated farming RPG, however it doesn't contain any sort of odd twist. And regarding flash games, OP actually went forth to denounce it, claiming, Edit. I have no recollection of what console this game was for or when it came out. I know that it was released after 2000. I know this is so vague, but it's really hard to remember something you forgot. Also, it had to be before mid to early 2015. Graphics were not 3D. I'm 100% sure it wasn't a browser game.
Okay.
So, dead end. OP did go forth to explain in a few comments that he carries a gut feeling that it was released after the year 2000, and also that it was much more refined than a simple flash game. Because of the obscure nature of this, combined with the fact that nobody was able to dig up anything about this, a user named Mikori chimed in with the postulation. At this point, the most likely origin of this game is your dreams. It's the exact sort of thing the average dream will create. Harvest Moon, crossed with a terrible incident you have to suffer through in guilt while nobody around you actively notices, and are just generally probably suspicious of you. Everyone has the guilt dream. This looks like yours. You probably mixed it up with real life, as everyone does sometimes. With how odd it is, and how much actual gameplay and art they'd have to create to get it off the ground, I highly doubt anyone actually made this.
Wait, is he like kind of accusing him of killing her wife and mixing it up with the games he was playing? And then having a nightmare dream about it? Or maybe just making a point.
It seems plausible. I've personally dreamed up some incredibly obscure situations, and for Sparta, this very easily could have been one of theirs.
Me too.
Unfortunately, though, without anywhere to go by this point, the mystery surrounding this seemed to fade just as fast as it came, as Redditors simply moved on to other ventures.
What the fuck? Do you know a game like that? What? What? That's very interesting. And the dream thing makes sense. I mean, I had dreams of after playing the DLC, that dreams of getting butchered by Yuri, but dreams, nightmare. Let's continue.
That was until nearly 3 years later.
Oh. Oh shit.
Out of absolutely nowhere, on December 16th of 2018, a user named David Spade AMA jumped onto the board to post the following.
Okay.
Evil farming game. There was this game I used to have downloaded around 2006
Oh
before I
boy.
upgraded my computer and lost it. It was a farming, Stardew Valley style of game where you murder your wife and then you try to pretend you never killed her. And that was the whole game. Keep farming and make sure no one finds out you killed her. There was a fishing minigame, and I specifically remember fishing up evidence of your wife's murder and then you pass out. As you'd expect, people were quick to jump on the connection to the post from 3
Oh
years
boy,
prior.
I'm getting chills.
What some were led to believe was simply a dream or a non-existent fragment of the prior OP's imagination began to lean closer to the potential of being
Reality.
entirely real.
Yeah. What the
In a
fuck?
reply linking his post to the former, OP claims, "Oh wow, I thought I was the only one." Not mentioned in that post was the pixel art gameplay and weird cutscenes in a different art style. It was downloaded off some shoddy indie devs websites that also had a ton of graphic live leak style videos to download. The name was so out there that I can't think of what it was. It might have started with Ash and then kept going, but that might have been another site. So before we continue, I want to point out something that doesn't quite line up. We have this lost, disturbing farming game that supposedly existed between 2000 and 2016. The prior OP claimed that it was a console release and not a PC game, but here we have this new OP claiming that he found it on a shoddy indie dev's website that contained what seemed like shock videos and gore. While nothing damning, these claims are contradictory, which throws another obstacle in our investigation.
But again, the shoddy indie dev probably had it as a reference, or maybe it just was like a pirated website to have that game on. I don't know.
In an edit, he jumped back in to explain that it also wasn't a kid's game, wasn't from RPG Maker, and reinforced the fact that he got it off an indie dev's websites. Furthermore, he gave a detail explaining that in each day in the game, the date would pop up, and also one of the characters was, quote, an old dude with the white beard.
Okay, great detail. What the
Green
fuck?
Heights, Moirai, Lakeview Cabin.
Cabin,
Unfortunately,
what the fuck?
at least according to the OP, none of these are it. Personally, I found that the closest premise out of all of these is Moirai. While not a dedicated farming game outright, it centers on the main character being thrown into a pixelated farm. Your main task involves tracking down a missing woman in some nearby caves, and after finding her, you're left to either kill her or get help. The game was actually connected to online servers, and when you're asked questions by a bloodied farmer inside the cave, your responses would pop up in a playthrough for whoever plays the game after you.
Oh, that's so
For all
cool.
we know, OP could be
Oh, that's so cool and creepy.
mixing things up here,
During
under the
OP
presumption
presence.
that in this game, you kill your wife. Possibly attributed to the fact that the person that played it before them might have mentioned something about a wife in their own responses. But even this is a pretty large stretch. A disturbing top-down farming sim is something that would undoubtedly be ingrained in my mind for many, many years.
Stardew Valley.
And personally, I feel like I'd know it when I see it. I know I would.
I love Stardew
But
Valley
OP
so
said
much.
this isn't it. And so the hunt continues.
Oh my god, that's... Jesus Christ. The fact that like the immediately second one came is actually pretty like legit terrifying. Because yeah, I was kind of convinced that maybe that's something like he made up, but then the second one, then let's continue.
1 month later. In a third post related to this, a user named You Done Me a Bamboozle jumped
More?
onto the subreddit in the most popular take on the topic so far. Interestingly, his post would stand out from the others as he claimed that he downloaded it onto an old laptop from 2001 and still had it in his possession.
Oh shit. Link?
Hi all. First time posting here. Today I found my old laptop, but sadly it won't boot up. But it brought back some great memories. Specifically, the following game. At the start of the game, you killed your wife, but after that, you just lived normal, managing your farm. However, it had a twist. The police could come at any time and find the body, so you had to constantly be wary and move it. The laptop was built in 2001, and I bought a new one in 2003, so it would have been between that time. It wasn't a browser game, and I think I may have gotten it from uTorrent, but I can't remember, to be honest.
So it might be on trend.
We finally had a lead.
Yeah.
Like vultures, everyone honed in on one thing. We had to get that hard drive going by any means necessary. In what I consider the subreddit's largest act of mass collaboration, most of the commenters chimed in, offering their services and even a GoFundMe in hopes of repairing that laptop, as it was the primary key to unearthing the identity behind this enigmatic video game.
To GoFundMe to
So OP went forth to thank everyone, but declined their offerings as they lived in the UK and most that were offering were in the US. They gave an update stating that they were going to take it to a local computer store in hopes of repairing the damaged drive and would report back later.
Okay. That's the Wolfie boy.
So time passes, the comment section becomes flooded with intermixed remind me posts, and everyone eagerly sat, awaiting the consensus on whether or not he'd get it working.
4 weeks.
Final edit. Sad news. The laptop is buggered. The moisture of the storage I placed it in has ruined it all. Any final suggestions?
I don't know, put it in a microwave.
Recovery. OP was willing. Edit cubed. I'm retrieving quotes from professional data recovery firms. And then... Update. The platter of the hard drive was damp and it's been deemed unrecoverable. I'm really sorry to have built hopes up. And just like that, brick wall. Again.
Fuck.
And that's where it's sat to this day.
Did they even find this game?
While the mystery of the lost farming game is currently lost on eager investigators that have yearned for even a shred of an answer, the hunt has admittedly been exciting. Whether or not this disturbing pixelated Harvest Moon freeware wife-killing non-Moirai farming game ever comes to light is to be seen. But one thing's for sure. Personally, I believe it's out there. An indie game hosted on a shoddy website seems like something not that far out of the ordinary. While seemingly only discovered by an extremely narrow niche of players, we can only wait and hope that someone out there comes forth with any sort of lead. A hard drive, a website, a key hidden inside a detail, so we can finally discover what this game actually was. If you're watching this and this sounds familiar to you, please get in contact. Post in tip of my joystick, post in my subreddits, anything.
Please.
Let's put this mystery to bed.
Please, yes.
As we can see, Reddit holds a wide variety of curious oddities that span a plethora of various subreddits. And tonight, we've dug through 3 of them.
I usually go to no sleep.
I sincerely hope you enjoyed this pilot episode of this experimental series. If you have any suggestions of real Reddit situations,
I loved it, like it was so surreal.
Absolutely send them my way for potential inclusion in a future Chronicles of Reddit installment. With that being said, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you all. And good night.
Oh man. I'm going to go to the bathroom, be with you in 2 minutes, and then we're going to go for Chronicles of Reddit Volume 2. Hey, Octoberus. See you in a bit. No, don't worry. There's going to be a VOD and you can actually watch it, like at least be a few minutes of it while I'm going to come back. Oh my god. Oh, Kobe. You troll. Funny thing though, you're going to probably get banned again, sadly. Yeah, there you go. Oh, you troll. Whew. Okay, back. Chronicles of Reddit, Volume 2, yes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hello everyone. What does beer mean? Oh. My dog always bit me. Okay, let's see. Let's go.
$430 million. The amount of monthly active Reddit users worldwide as of December of 2019. 30 million.
What? Monthly? Monthly? What the fuck, Reddit?
The amount of monthly active Reddit users worldwide as of December of 2019.
What the
A
fuck?
figure of this magnitude has effectively cemented the site as one of the most widely used of all time. And with that comes an incomprehensible melting pot of post topics spanning nearly any.
Oh, you have multiple accounts? Can someone keep banning Kobe? Just for sake of it.
Thing you can think of. As with anything, however, there is a dark side. The shrouded corner of the websites, harboring the strangest mysteries, stories, and true crime cases. It's safe to say that I've sunk an embarrassing amount of my life reading threads in this category. But hey, I guess that just happens when you're fascinated by something. What can you do? Welcome back to Chronicles of Reddit, an anthology series dedicated to diving into the less disturbing and more odd part of Reddit that you might overlook in your day-to-day reading. This is Volume 2, so if you missed the pilot episode, be sure to check that out when you're finished with this one. Without further ado, get comfy, because tonight, we're taking a dive.
What is that?
Be sure to check that out.
What the fuck is that head? What? He didn't explain it in the previous one. What is that head? He didn't explain what is that head and the fucking... What is red? The red fucking room or something? They're going to sacrifice something to you. Yeah, there is some kind of... I don't know. Let's continue.
Without further ado, get comfy, because tonight, we're taking a dive into 3 more bizarre discoveries that have weirded me out. From Reddit.
Gone missing.
First stop, RBI, a hub for investigative minds to congregate and tackle real-world problems. On July 31st of 2020, a Redditor by the name of SoothBB would reach out to the community in a plea for help in finding their coworker.
Video game called.
Their post reads the following. On Wednesday, July 22nd, a coworker of mine abruptly up and left work before the end of his shift and hasn't been seen since. 1 week later, a text message is received from him containing only these 3 photos.
Can you link it so I can watch it after this one? IRC, what the fuck is IRC? Words.com. Can you link the video game cult?
Anybody recognize the location shown in these photos?
I couldn't hear that.
On Wednesday, July 22nd, a coworker of mine abruptly up and left work before the end of his shift and hasn't been seen since. 1 week later, a text message is received from him containing only these 3 photos. Does anybody recognize the location shown in these photos? I work at a lab that makes prescription eyeglasses in Northern Ohio. Last week, Wednesday, about 6 hours into our 10-hour shift, a coworker of mine got up from his station in a hurry, left his bag of personal belongings at his desk, and walked out the door and didn't return. No one's seen him since. Some of my other coworkers thought he was just sick of the long hours and decided to quit, but that doesn't make sense why he'd leave behind his personal belongings and not say anything. We tried calling him that same night, but his phone would just ring until it went to voicemail, and by the next morning his phone was turned off. My boss said he got a hold of his mom and that she hasn't seen or heard from him, but didn't seem too concerned, as she said he had a history of living somewhat of a nomadic lifestyle in his past. She thinks he may have relapsed and owed someone money or just ran off with some girl. Apparently they aren't very close and don't have the best relationship. I know he had a history of drug abuse, but from everything I've gathered in the 2 years that I've worked with him, he cleaned his life up after an arrest in 2014 or 2015 for drug possession and had been clean since. He always acted normal around me and seemed to be living a productive life. On the subject of the pictures, a couple days ago after work, I received a group text message that was sent to me, 2 of my other coworkers, and 6 other numbers I don't recognize. It was from him and contained the 3 pictures I linked. No text. I tried calling and it rang once, then went to voicemail. When I called again, it went straight to voicemail. This whole thing's got me feeling very uneasy, and I don't know what to think. Does anybody here recognize the location of where these photos might have been taken? As stated, below this was a link to an Imgur album containing the photos, which are as follows.
Some sort of church with a shed? What the fuck is that? Is that a... That's one of those things. That's one of the things that you open wheels with. What do you call it? Cross wrench? A car? Is that a car? Seems like a... This is so weird. That car seems like one of those jeeps that has its like lights turned off recently. The rest is I don't understand. Like I don't know. But don't they when you take a photo with your phone, doesn't it like save the GPS coordinates?
All right, so we've got 3 images in strange locations with very apparent motion distortion. It appears that whoever was taking them must have been trying to shoot him on the fly, and very likely could have been attempting to be discreet about it. Camera flash aside. Now, I know the first thing that probably comes to mind here is the potential of EXIF data being embedded within these photos, and considering the fact that it provides critical information, including the GPS location, extracting this from the image and tracking his friend down should be pretty easy peasy, right? Wrong. Unfortunately, a few others have noticed this and suggested looking into it. However, the OP's attempts at doing so didn't bring up anything usable. On top of this, not only were the images that were uploaded to the album on Imgur not the original photos from the camera that shot them, but the websites and potentially the messaging app they both used more than likely stripped the EXIF data from the files, effectively rendering this angle of attack to be useless.
God damn it. Yeah, I think they might do it like online or Telegram for security purposes.
A couple hours after this thread was made, a Redditor named Zepazuzu would inquire on if the police were notified, to which Sooth responded, saying, "That's what my boss contacted his mom about. She said she was gonna give it some time before doing anything like that because she's absolutely convinced he's fine and just left on his own accord."
I'm sorry, what?
Her lack of concern is kinda mind-blowing, to be honest. If my kid up and left leaving behind a bag of personal possessions, I'd contact the police ASAP. We talked about calling the police ourselves, but my boss ultimately said it wasn't our place since we aren't kin, and that should be left to his family.
That is true. I'm not okay. I can't judge the mom because I don't know the history between him and his son, and if he used to be a drug user, so like that explains to some degree why the mother kind of is so unempathetic about the whole situation. But I don't know. That's kind of weird that she doesn't just call missing.
Not sure about you, but this seems a bit off. I don't doubt Sooth's claims here. However, leaving only his mother with the sole authority to file a missing persons report or contact the police seems a bit odd to me. Personally, if a friend or coworker of mine were to up and vanish after leaving all their personal belongings behind like they'd done, red flags would be going off everywhere. If I were them, I'd be filing a report regardless. Anyway, in the sea of speculation and theories under this post, 2 users, Maxilla the Destroyer and Mashed Potatoes, would present nearly identical theories that stand out among the others. For brevity, we'll just take a look at the one from Mash. My phone has a feature where if I hit the lock button 3 times really fast, it'll send a series of 3 photos to whatever contacts I've approved. The phone I just got will send 3 from the front camera, 3 from the back, and I think a couple of seconds of audio recording. It's for emergency situations. My old phone would send just 3 from the front-facing camera. Is it possible this is what's happening?
Oh, that's fucking amazing. Wait. Nothing.
Now this. This is a contender I'm willing to get behind,
Yeah.
considering the fact that Sooth and a few others all received these 3
That's pretty
photos
useful.
in tandem. If we assume that their coworker utilized this SOS feature potentially built into their smartphone, then it leaves the door open to just 2 options. Either they're completely fine and did this by accident, or they were or are legitimately in trouble and needed help. But
It depends,
then again,
though.
that brings us straight back to the root of this mystery. Regardless of what happened, Sooth unfortunately never followed up with an update on if they ever returned, if a report was eventually filed, or if they ever got into contact with them, leaving the door on this conundrum wide open for speculation. If you or anyone you know recognizes these spots from Northern Ohio, drop a comment. It's a long shot, but perhaps we can help Sooth put their newfound dilemma to bed while helping to bring their friend home.
Okay, the thing is, either way, the first like scenario makes more sense. The fact that he might have done it accidentally, but that is just if you take that alone. But he just left. He just left and left everything he had in the workplace. So that kind of explains. The second option is more plausible, and I hope they kind of find why did this actually happen. I don't know. I seriously don't know. Let's continue. Wait, why is this red? Why is this red? God damn it! Give me a few seconds. Is the image choppy for you guys? Is it choppy? Is it lagging a little bit or something? Okay, it's getting green again. Green. Yes. Okay, let's continue. CPS dilemma. What? What the fuck is CPS?
Stop 2. Legal advice. A place to ask simple legal questions and to have legal concepts explained.
Ooh, I use
On the
that
morning
place.
of February 7th of 2017, a Redditor by the name of BabyBlue17 would jump into the conversation, explaining and inquiring on an unfortunate dilemma that they found themselves wrapped up in. Their post is titled, "I'm pregnant being investigated by DCS," and reads the following. Hello. I'm 29 years old, happily married. My husband and I are college educated, have respectable, stable jobs, and own a home in a nice neighborhood.
Okay.
We're basically as prepared as anyone can be to start a family.
Congratulations.
I'm almost 9 months pregnant with our first child. The problem is that 11 years ago, when my husband was a freshman in college, he was arrested for possession of marijuana. It was a large enough amount that he was charged with a Class D felony, but not intent to deal.
But isn't that legal now? Oh, 2017 probably.
He pled guilty and did his time in probation without a problem, passing every drug test along the way. He has not touched marijuana since, and we rarely even drink. I have no criminal record and have never done drugs myself. It was a stupid mistake he made as a foolish 18-year-old, and he's worked hard to put it behind him. Someone has apparently contacted child services in our area and informed them that we are drug users. This accusation is being taken very seriously because of my husband's record. We've been as cooperative as could be with our caseworker. We've been interviewed, our home has been examined, and she found nothing remotely suspicious or incriminating.
But you don't have a child.
We have both taken a drug test and
What
passed.
the fuck?
Our caseworker says that everything looks fine so far. Unfortunately, she also says that there's still a possibility that our child could be taken from us in the labor and delivery ward and that we won't be allowed to take her home. I was devastated and horrified to hear that. When I asked why,
No
she
fuck,
said it was
what the
not
fuck?
up to her and we'll have to wait and see.
What the fuck is labor and delivery abort? Taking a child from their mother? The child that is what?
Which made absolutely no sense. What gives? I feel like there's something that she isn't telling me, but I have no experience with DCS and I'm not aware of anything we could have possibly done wrong. I know they'll have to test my daughter for drugs once she's born, but she hasn't been exposed to drugs. Nothing more than prenatal vitamins, not even Tylenol, and I already proved that by passing a drug test.
This is so fucked up.
I'm scared and confused. Do I need a lawyer? I'd anticipated spending our savings on our new daughter and parental leave, but I'll use that money for a lawyer if I have to. Thanks for reading, and thanks in advance for your help.
Whew.
Clearly, the actions taken so far by the caseworker are cause for alarm. Receiving news that you're being investigated and might not be able to keep your newborn child would instill anyone with a feeling of overwhelming anxiety. Thankfully, commenters were quick to jump in, offering various tidbits of advice and insight on how she can get this handled. Get a family law attorney on retainer. Maybe contact the local ACLU chapter. This reaction is pretty extreme, and the fact that someone tipped them when you're obviously not using is pretty malicious.
Yeah.
Another Redditor named Sudsworthy floated the possibility that the caseworker is potentially complicit in working with the one who made the report. Others, however, had their reservations on the validity of this entire investigation. Indiana DCS does not get involved with pregnancies. Please make sure the person you're talking to is actually DCS, or don't let them in your home anymore. And probably the most substantial comments came from a user named HurryUpMeow, who claimed that they were a former CPS investigator in the OP's data residence. I'm a former Indiana CPS investigator and assessor. Something here is not making any sense at all, unless the law has changed greatly in the last few years when I left the department. As of this moment, you're pregnant, correct? You don't have any children? They're investigating the fetus? To which OP responded, claiming, yeah, we have no children yet. They are investigating the fetus.
Yeah, that was their first
I
child.
wasn't aware that was even something they could do. The report they got must have been quite alarming, I guess. It seemed weird as heck to me too. The remainder of the comments, understandably, were incredibly sketched out.
Oh my
that this was
God.
occurring. It was heavily advised to stop contacting this particular caseworker and to get in contact with a DCS supervisor directly.
Holy
Hopefully through them,
shit.
they could get some answers on this. And so the OP went silent for a while.
Oh,
Hours
please tell me
became
she's
days,
alright.
And the thread began to lose a bit of steam, as they always do. Hopefully things were okay.
What the fuck? Oh, this is so weird. Ear to ear. It's so weird.
February 21st,
Wait.
2017.
No conclusion to that? Or wait.
Here's my original post. When
Oh,
I made it,
thank
I was
God.
advised to get a lawyer right away. I was also advised that Indiana's DCS doesn't investigate pregnant women who don't already have kids, and that the woman claiming to be a social worker might be an imposter.
Suspect.
I contacted and met with a lawyer and explained the situation to him. He seemed to agree that something was very fishy. To make a long story short, the woman handling our case has no affiliation with DCS. I'm still in complete shock. We went straight to the police, and they're taking this very seriously. I can't give a lot of details because it's an ongoing investigation, but she seems to have been a very skilled and well-researched liar. I never would have known anything was amiss without the advice of this subreddit and the intervention of my attorney. I feel like a complete idiot, but the instinct to cooperate when faced with an intimidating authority figure is strong.
Why would she want the
haven't had
baby?
yet, and we're staying at a trusted family member's home until the baby's born. My OB and the hospital we'll be delivering at have already been informed of the situation and will be taking the appropriate security measures. I'm still freaking out, but we're taking every precaution for the safety of my child, and hopefully everything will turn out okay. Thanks again, everybody. Truly.
Why the fuck would they want the baby?
Abduction of a newborn is something unfathomable to me. However, after reading this and looking into it, I now know that it is a thing. Go figure. The stats are interesting too. According to an article made by KVUE in Austin, Texas, from 1964 to October of 2019, 327 children under the age of 1 have been abducted in the US. Of those 327 who were abducted, 257 of them were taken by women of childbearing age, between the ages of 14 and 39.
Jesus Christ.
A nurse or healthcare worker is more likely to take a child from a healthcare setting, while a babysitter, relative, or friend is more likely to take an infant from a home. Had the OP not raised their suspicions, then who knows what the next step the attempted kidnapper would have taken. Perhaps they'd try to get someone to impersonate a nurse, coming face to face with the OP in the recovery room to abduct their child.
Fuck.
It might sound like a long shot, but if they were this dedicated, pursuing a fake DCS case against baby blues, and even coming out to inspect their home, then I wouldn't doubt that they'd pull a stunt like this too. To date, the OP understandably hasn't returned to Reddit. Their story, though, will forever live on in r/legal advice as one of the most bizarre and unsettling occurrences that have been shared there. I'm sure this would make a great personal story one day. But to be honest, if I were them, I'd be happy with just forgetting it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Why would they do that? Like... Jesus Christ. To open up another echo. Okay. Let us continue. Peeping Henry. Oh my god.
Our final stop.
Super kind of fucked me up.
r/relationships. The place you go for advice in, well, your relationships. On Monday, May 23rd of 2016, a Redditor by the name of Losing My Mind 5 would share a story about what they believed to be their husband spying on them when he isn't home. Considering the post received upwards of 6,000 likes and nearly 1.5 thousand comments in just 5 months, it's safe to assume that their story shook some people up.
Okay.
It's deleted now, however thankfully archives exist to remedy situations like this. And it read the following. My husband Henry and I have been married for almost 2 years, together for 5. We have a pretty normal relationship and have always felt that we share a mutual trust in each other. We've never broken up, and I can't think of one situation where he'd feel that I'm not trustworthy. I feel like I'm going crazy over this. Henry's career usually requires him to travel rarely, but this year's an exception. His company's in the middle of a reorganization, and he's been traveling to do training seminars about once a month. His trips are usually Monday to Sunday. I've confirmed these trips, and yes, they are legitimate. I'd say that we've been handling it well, but the past few months, my husband's been doing weird things that have caused me to believe that he's spying on me or showing controlling tendencies. The first incident was at the end of March when my husband came home and asked me how my friend was doing with the death of her dog. At first, I said she was sad, but doing okay. About a minute later, I asked how he knew that, and he said social media. The only reason I asked was because I had a phone call in the living room with my friend when the dog died. Not only that, but my friend had deactivated her page before the dog died, so it wouldn't have been on there. I'm the only mutual friend he had with her, so I don't think that he'd see anything that she was tagged in. I asked him if he's watching me, as a joke, and he said, seriously? Why would you think that? I explained it, and he said no, it was on social media. I just assumed his defensiveness was because he had jet lag. The second incident was in April when I went out with my friends during the weekend. That Saturday night, I texted him that I would let him know when I'm home and it should be around 12:30 a.m. I got home earlier at about 11 p.m. and fiddled around the kitchen for probably 20 minutes. I'll admit, I forgot to text him. I got a text at about 11:20 that said, "You're home?" I told him yes, that I was straightening the kitchen, then going to bed. I asked how he knew, and he said he just figured you would be already. He told me goodnight, and I went to bed.
Nothing crazy, but like maybe 1% suspicious, 2%.
But this latest incident has me looking back on the past few months. Henry got home early from this month's trip on Friday. I was super excited because he doesn't have a trip until September. When he got home, he asked what I did all week. I explained all of my activities when he said, "Did you have any friends over?" I said no, and he said, "Oh, really?" I said yes, and then at that point I was really confused because I truly didn't have any friends over. He just huffed and stormed off.
I mean, but was he saying, "Oh, really," with that tone? Or like, "Oh, really?" Or like, "Oh, really?" Like he was making some kind of plans? I don't know.
Again,
the fact that he stormed off was
tired.
just weird.
I went to the bedroom and asked if he was okay, and he said that he was. Later that night, we were talking about my week, and I mentioned my brother dropped off some photo albums of my dad, who passed away, and that I wanted to show him some. Henry said, "Oh, your brother was here. Okay," and then mumbled, "That makes sense."
What? Okay, that confirms it.
away.
What the fuck?
I have really good hearing, and I don't think he thought I'd hear it. If he had a camera, is it possible he could have heard a male voice and assumed that it was another male friend? My brother didn't come in the house, but we talked on the front porch with the front door open. I feel crazy just typing this.
Just
Sunday,
use your
because he was at his mom's,
use your phone to check for IP ranges of your
I decided
router.
to try and look around. I didn't want to be too obvious, so I kind of just nonchalantly
Like the
walked
local
around
ones.
looking at things, accidentally knocking things over, and
That would
looking at them
confirm
when
it.
I picked them up, etc. I'm sure it was obvious because I got a call from him asking what I was doing. I told him just hanging out, and he said doing what? I told him I was watching TV. I did have the TV on. There was a pause, and he said, "I'm leaving soon. I'll be home in 20 minutes. He was supposed to be there for 3 more hours. Someone tell me I am overreacting and this is not strange.
Not really.
Am I digging too far into this? I don't know how he'd know about my friend's dog and that I was home early that one night. There's gotta be something going on, right? He's never acted like this before February. It's weird. I get home after him during the week.
Okay, so if he never did it, why does it start now? What created that suspicion that he has to do it? What?
So I don't get too much
Maybe
time
he's just
alone,
paranoid
aside from
about
showers,
something.
bathroom visits, etc. Help?
IP range is the best bet. Basically, any kind of device that you connect to your router has the IP connected to it immediately from local.
Oh yeah. I can see why this story gained so much steam. In our connected world, options for spying,
Lucky check, right?
especially for someone versed in information technology with access to the network within the house that you live in, are nearly endless. Webcams, microphones, smartphones, smart speakers, laptops, connected TVs, what have you. And that's not even including the potential for hidden cameras, which these days are disturbingly simple to come by.
Oh.
Being spied on is truly something that induces chills within me, because few things are more intimate and more sacred
Me too.
than one's own privacy. And so Reddit jumped on the case, giving her options and theories as to what he might be up to. These ranged pretty widely, from the potential of him cheating and projecting his behavior onto her, to him deriving some fantasy from spying on her. It truly did light this subreddit up for a while. A user named Riker-Omega-3 lended their advice with a pretty solid gotcha tactic to subtly pull the evidence out of him. Next time he goes away, unplug the cable modem. If he's monitoring you, he won't be able to without the internet going to the house. Power off your cell phone and any other tablet during this time as well, in case he's using those as a microphone. Take that time to really carefully go through the house. Wherever you were looking when you got busted the first time is where it starts. Pay attention to anything that's been moved. Look at the air vents, returns, and smoke detectors. These usually have a layer of dust on them. If the dust has been disturbed, odds are someone disturbed them. Look for
pretty
scuffs on the
smart.
floor or indentations on the carpet, as if a chair or piece of furniture has been recently moved. If there's a camera or microphone, odds are he's going to have one in the bedroom, so start there. The living room is the next logical option. Most importantly, take pictures in every room. When he gets back in town, he's going to want to know what happened with his listening devices. He'll check the internet and the actual devices to make sure that A, that they are working, and B, they're still there. Maybe place the modem at a certain angle or facing a certain direction. If for some reason the first thing he does is check the modem when he gets home, you'll know you're barking up the right tree.
That is smart, but again, that will basically that is basically like gives him the clue, reveals that you know that he knows, reveals that you know that he's just like spying on you. The best way is basically to use IP scan. Just like 20 minutes.
To me, seems like it'd be the best option, and it's a bonus that it's so rudimentary. Next time he's on a work trip or at his mom's, cut the internet, effectively buying yourself time to snoop around the house without worrying that you're being watched while doing it. If I were her, I'd do it again, and again, and again, and again, while pleading ignorance every time.
It's okay.
Considering the fact that spousal spying is illegal in the US thanks to the Electronic Communications Privacy Act, she'd be able to build a pretty substantial case against him. Call the police. They're able to check for hidden cameras and other devices that are used to spy on people. Listen, this is your husband, and I get that you love him, but if he's really spying on you while he's gone, it's beyond sick and disgusting, and it's also illegal.
Not beyond sick, but yes, it is sick.
Found. You do not need to press charges, but the fact that you can press charges should scare the shit out of him. If you find stuff and still want to stay with him, I'd go to marriage counseling.
And just confront him with it again and again. What the fuck is he doing? For fuck's sake. Vincent, you don't want to watch this? You're 18? Was? Oh nice, 8 people and 1 in Twitch. Hello. Let's continue. Let it be green. Let it be green again. Okay, it's green. Okay. Let's continue in a few seconds. The thing is, something might have happened. Something might have happened that created that paranoia. Because the wife mentioned that he didn't used to be like that, and he just started from one point. So it seems like something is fucking with him. Maybe they're friends. Something happened to one of his friends, like one of their wives cheated or something, and then he was just so fucking weird. Because she actually needs to confront him immediately. Or you can need to just, I mean, with evidence that would make more sense to just find out that he's doing it and confirm it and then ask for it, but again. Let's continue.
Another user named WorkDog suggested that she check the router for suspicious connections that could hint at the possibility of hidden network cameras, to which Unfortunately, she responded saying that she's not tech savvy at all.
Fuck. Yeah.
From what I gather here, I'm honestly leaning towards the prior suggestion that the husband's cheating and is projecting his actions onto her. If we're assuming that they've had no prior relationship issues and that this spying dilemma suddenly started around February, then it's safe to say that he must have had some sort of significant life change around that time. Furthermore, considering the fact that he's away for extended periods of time for work, combined with the fact that he literally dropped everything and left his mom's, take that for what you will, to rush home and address her snooping after he suspected her of doing so, it's just adding up to infidelity to me. Either that, or he simply drummed up this sudden infatuation with spying to keep control over their relationship, to purposefully drop hints of the fact that he knows what she's doing, and to prevent her from cheating on him in the future. But then again, that brings us full circle, because why would you need to do something like this if you aren't doing it yourself? Why would you need to convince yourself that your partner isn't cheating, completely out of the blue?
Yeah. There's questions. There are so many questions.
Losing My Mind hasn't revisited Reddit to give any sort of follow-up, so it's unclear on what might have happened to her. There wasn't any location information in her story that allows to do any further digging, and so we're left here, 4 years later, hoping that they'd come to some sort of positive outcome. Losing My Mind, if you're out there, jump on a private tab, use a VPN, and drop us a sign. It can be anything. A smiley face on your profile bio, an unrelated comment on an unrelated post, anything.
Yeah.
Your story resonated with a lot of people, and we're all just hoping that you came out of the other end of this all right.
I hope she's. I mean, she's probably. I don't know. Any updates? Please?
Reddit is a massive space.
No.
And with such a gargantuan size comes a plethora of strange mysteries that can truly captivate even the most lighthearted subreddits. Tonight, we dove into 3 eerie threads that have recently interested me. I hope you all enjoyed this second installment, and if you have any running theories for any of these, definitely leave them in the comments. Also, if you have any further suggestions for a future Chronicles of Reddit anthology, feel free to submit it to nightmareexpo@gmail.com with the title Chronicles of Reddit Submission. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. I love you all. And good night.
Triangle. Where did these women go? There are disappeared such as. Samaritan man. Wait! Oh yes, Samaritan man! Oh, the Samaritan man. That's the Tamam Shud case. Oh, I know that case. The dude in Australia who had a ripped Omar Khayyam thing. Oh my god. Put Bella down the witch elm. Witchel? What? Found stuff inside the hollow witch elm. But nobody knows who. What the fuck? I mean, you guys can give a recommendation by joining the Discord, and there is actually a segment called YouTube recommendations, YouTube suggestions, non-otaku section. You can do it, use it there. Ted Ford, some mysteries ever read so far. Man can just disappear into every bus full of. They're getting a decent amount of dropped frames. I'm gonna wait a bit so it goes green again and then continue. The next video would be Disturbing Things from Around the Internet Volume 2. Internet historian, that's gonna be maybe next week. I hope so. I mean, it depends on the schedule, because there is another stream for this Friday, but that is just for more HoloLive stuff, sadly or happily, because I kind of enjoy Niji Sanji a lot. And Internet Historian will next week. I try to make a stream for more of Internet Historian material if you guys wanted to join that. But yeah, I'm trying to because yesterday the stream with the VTuber stuff kind of made me very anxious, so I couldn't sleep last night. So I tried watching some scary videos. Watch one of these dudes' videos, and I really loved it. So I thought maybe I can actually, maybe people would be interested in a reaction to this. U.S. Space Coast. What the fuck is U.S. Space Coast? Texas? Nevada? Or are you like in the fucking space station or something? What the fuck? I got anxious because that was like my biggest stream, and we had like 2 fucking bloopers. You call them bloopers, I say I fucked up. But yeah. I mean, today I actually, it's been few days that I tried to get back Patreon, but they basically emailed me and said they can't really do anything about it because, again, of to abide by US law. So it's gonna take a while for me to adjust to YouTube, or to at least get the revenue back. But yeah, we continue the same way, and hopefully the health of the channel rises a tiny bit more. Okay, let me find the link. Three, two, one, go. Disturbing Things from Around the Internet Part 2. Hashtag DT4. Oh, it's just it.
What he's doing?
What?
Welcome back.
What? Who's doing? Oh, someone just followed me. Thank you. A bot followed me. Beep boop, beep boop. Okay. Okay, let's continue.
To disturbing things from around the internet. If you recall, this is my one-stop shop for bite-sized creepy finds that I've recently stumbled upon. Just last month, we covered a wide array of disturbing things, ranging from Facebook posts to Reddit conspiracies. Today will be no different.
That fucking kindergarten was it so weird, looking, like childcare.
Handpicked and disturbing things from the internet.
What the fuck? Is it the Jamie Masters?
Back in 2010, there existed a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan forum called the Bloody Board. It seemed to have been thriving for quite a few years, with posts dating way back to 2004. Jamie Marsters, a play on the name James Marsters, an actor on the show, ran this forum that contained over 40,000 posts. Everything seems fine here, right?
Yeah.
Well, the scope of things takes a pretty big 180 when you realize that the forum had only one active member, Jamie Marsters herself. Each of these conversations were simply her talking to herself, and the topics ranged anywhere from fan meetups to the show's schedule. The peculiar thing about this is the math that comes with it. To keep up with the number of topics that were found on the forum, Jamie would have had to have posted once every 84 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for 6 years.
What? Jamie Masters. Oh, she really
no matter
loved.
her motive, it's just a little strange. Theories have been thrown up that Jamie is a crazy superfan, and others believe that this entire thing was run by a bot. This actually leads to my next point. Unfortunately, in October of 2010, an article called The 7 Most Unintentionally Creepy Places on the Internet was posted by the website Cracked, and as you might have guessed, this board was on that list. What ensued afterwards was an endless barrage of people storming the board, posting vulgarities, pornography, and other unrelated, undesirable content. It's estimated that a total of 36,753 people flooded the place in the short span of 24 hours. After logging in and being surprised with the endless barrage of posts, Jamie ended up shutting down the board, casting it into internet oblivion. It turns out that Jamie had used this forum as a sort of news hub for the show, so she could keep up with articles about meetups and conventions. The thing is, how big of a fan do you really have to be to make 40,000 posts to yourself?
I mean, I can't defend this. Like, man, crazy, yeah, a bit, but I mean, is this still a good fan? Jesus Christ.
In July of last year, a Facebook post was made by a user named Kiana, who claimed to have had weird things happen to her for a while. She claims that about 3 years ago, I took this photo and realized that there was a face in the background. People said that it was my younger sibling or someone else at home, and it wasn't. Even if it was, I was using front-facing flash, and dark-skinned people like me and my brother don't show up in the dark when using front-facing flash. Anyway, people thought it was a lie, and it never was. Little things happen here and there, like my lights shutting off when I knew I had them on, or things moving right in front of my eyes. I try to ignore them, but tonight, I just so happened to be recording what I thought was a cute video of me petting my cat, and then you see my cat jump. The photo in question is this.
I mean, she's whiter than me, that's for sure.
If you're unable to see what she's talking about in the circle, I've done some enhancing for you.
What the fuck? Okay, that's so fucking creepy.
Now, for the video.
Just fell down. Nothing. I don't see anything else.
Whatever you make of this is up to you.
Okay. This is not an aircraft, huh?
In 1978, an Australian pilot named Fred Valentich was flying over the Bass Strait in Australia and ended up disappearing under mysterious circumstances. To give some quick background, Fred held a Class 4 instrument rating with over 150 hours of flight time. He was also known as a pretty big UFO enthusiast. He embarked on a nighttime training flight over a 125-mile span of the Bass Strait on October 21st, 1978. Midway through his flight, he contacted air traffic control about an aircraft that was accompanying him. He claimed that the craft was flying at about 1,000 feet above him and seemed to be taunting him. The disturbing part is, his last words from the transmission were, "It's not an aircraft." The recreation of the flight transcript has been made, and is as follows.
Delta Sierra Juliet, is there any known traffic below 5,000 feet? No known traffic. Seems to be a large aircraft below 5,000 feet. What type of aircraft is it? I cannot confirm. It's four bright, seems to me like landing lights. Can you describe the aircraft? As it's flying past, it's a long shape.
Long
Can't
shape.
identify it. It has such speed. It's before me right now, Melbourne. How large would the object be? Seems like it's stationary. What it's doing right now is orbiting. The thing is just orbiting on top of me. It's also got a green light and a sort of metallic, like, it's shiny on the outside. It's just vanished. That strange aircraft's hovering on top of me again. It's hovering and it's not an aircraft.
I mean, there was some genuinity in his voice, of course. There was genuine
Many
shock when it
theories have been made
vanished.
regarding what he was actually seeing. These theories range from an actual UFO sighting to the possibility of Fred becoming disoriented and flying upside down. The latter seems very possible, given the fact that this occurred at nighttime. He could have very well been looking up at his own lights as they were reflected in the ocean. The one thing that unnerves me about this, though, is the fact that he made claims about it flying in front and behind him, and also that the lights he saw were green, when his craft had no green lights at all. The entire incident is intriguing as all hell, and a solid explanation is yet to be given.
Okay.
In 2014, model and fashion designer Lauren Scott was found dead in her New York apartment. She died
the
by
fuck?
hanging herself with an improvised satin noose. While this death is tragic, the incidents that followed were nothing short of chilling. Lauren was known for scheduling Facebook posts and tweets for her audience. After her confirmed death, her accounts were still sending out updates, and her PR team did little to stop it before any sort of backlash. The strangest part about this story lies with her scheduled Facebook post. Hours after her body was discovered, this image was published to her page showing dresses hanging from a tree. It shocked many people and also led them to believe that this was another celebrity death hoax. However, it wasn't. This was very real, and strangely, the image that she had scheduled to upload was, given the circumstances, nothing short of unnerving.
Okay, that was fucked up. All this hard work.
There exists a channel that goes by Human Being 15 that has only one upload to date. In this 9-minute video, you're met with what initially seems like a random, ordinary person rummaging through some old notebooks and storage. Things begin to take a strange turn when you realize what this channel is trying to convey. Let's see if you can spot what's off about this before we go any further.
There's so many notebooks. So many notebooks. Jesus fucking Christ. Mr. Daddy, all his hard work I had for you, Daddy? Daddy? Is that Daddy? I saw an I. Is he like a paper producer or the storage? What the fuck? There's so many composite notebooks. Dog look high quality too. What the fuck?
As we just saw, At about 2 minutes into the video, the camera panned across a poster that says, "Mr. Diddy, all this hard work I have done for you." The same thing actually happens at 3 minutes and 21 seconds. We then are shown hundreds upon hundreds of other notebooks that this person's got stockpiled in one of his rooms, and at about 6 minutes and 20 seconds in, we're finally shown what's in one of the books. It's the phrases, "Please Mr. P. Diddy, please respond," and "Brother Diddy, please accept," over and over and over. Human Being 15 then goes forth to show us more of his stockpiled notebooks before the video ends. Allegedly, this video is a re-upload from their previous channel, namely titled Human Being 151. The creator would go by the name Insomniac and had over 1,000 videos showing this sort of behavior. His video titles ranged from things such as "Diddy Dear Diddy Please Read This" to "Diddy TV Official." There were even some that had song lyrics in the title, presumably to somehow gain his attention. According to the site Cracked, which we mentioned earlier, whom at the time had access to his endless library of videos, the content on Human Being 151's channel started with insanity from the very first video and went downhill from there. While the original channel has long been deleted, at least we have this re-upload which tells us all that we really need to know about the kind of guy Human Being was. Obviously, this guy has an indivisible obsession with the hip-hop artist P. Diddy. Why him out of all people? I really couldn't tell you, but this guy clearly wanted to be noticed.
That's a fucked up amount of homework.
In the most disturbing manner possible.
That's a fucked up amount of fucked up homework. What the fuck? And did no one really see this? Like he did the fucking Diddy. Oh, that is fucking sad. Let me get a drink. Okay. Let's continue.
And there you have it. We just dove into 5 more disturbing things from around the internet. Now before you go, I want to present a challenge to you guys. If you have any disturbing things that you know of for part 3 of this series, please submit them to either my subreddit or tweet at me with the hashtag DTFAI. I'll fish through your recommendations and will credit you as a submitter if yours gets chosen. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this second installment of the series. I'm so glad you guys loved the first one, and I can only hope that this one holds a candle to the original. Lastly, I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you all, and good night.
Yeah. No sleep. No sleep for neither of us, my friend. What is this fucking... Make this smaller. So big. That's better. Huh. Third one. Huh. Oh, it's 10 p.m. here, and I'm a bit not cold yet, not really like cold and cold sweats, but I got some chills. Let's go for the volume 3 of disturbing things from the internet, or all around the internet.
Welcome back to Disturbing Things from Around the Internet. If you're new to the series, this is my one-stop shop for disturbing finds that I've come across online. This is part 3, so if you haven't yet, definitely go check out volume 1 and 2 on my channel.
Already
Trust
did?
me, you won't be let
You
down.
beautiful man.
Anyway, I hope you guys are strapped in, because today's installment will absolutely be the darkest and most sinister entry to date. It's time, once more, to dive into 5 more hand-picked and disturbing things from the internet.
Okay. Day 0.
For the past few years, there's been a severe ongoing water crisis in the city of Cape Town, South Africa. In short, the city is slated to be the first major region in the world to run completely out of drinking water, ever. Back in 2015, a drought began, resulting in severe water shortage.
Oh
and
my
since
God.
then, the city has slowly been going through cycles of water recovery and rapid declination with an obvious downward trend. Unfortunately, going by these statistics, a life-threatening problem will inevitably be upon them. Cape Town and its residents are currently bracing for what they're calling a Day 0, which is essentially when the water reserves in the region become so low that the municipal water supply would become so heavily regulated that citizens would only be allowed a maximum of just 7 gallons of water to live off of per day. The dreaded date, which was designated in October of last year, has been shifted back and forth. It was originally supposed to be April 21st. That was recently changed to April 12th. Then 16th, then May 11th.
God damn it.
Luckily, they bought themselves some time due to severe water limitations that have been put in place in the region. Currently, citizens are only allowed 13 gallons of water per day maximum, and various measures, such as water reduction for crops and the patching of massive leaking pipes, have been put in place in an effort to conserve every last drop. The reasons behind this have been debated back and forth, ranging from bad governing, to climate change, to wasteful use by citizens. Unfortunately, little can be done about this massive crisis, and residents have already been rushing to supermarkets to stock up on all the water that they can. It's heartbreaking and completely crazy to watch this happen in the news, and to think about how this would be handled if it were to happen to you, or me. The majority of these people can't just afford to up and move out of the area, and I'm sure that most of us, myself included, wouldn't be able to either.
Oh yeah, we had shit like that. Not as fucked up as this, but we had shit like that. When they would like make it 12 hours, you have to water for 12 hours and then cut it for the other 12 hours. Oh my god. Phantom Realm? No. Phenomen Realm. Phenomen Realm? What?
Phenomen Rum, or by its English translation, Space Phenomenon, is a video that was recommended to me by a user on Twitter. They claim that they found it in the related videos section while watching a video about a French book that they read. After I saw their suggestion, I took a look, because why not? Well, what I saw was pretty surprising, and pretty disturbing. Look at this.
What the fuck? Oh, this is so weird. Why is there voices but no people?
Like we established, Phenomenon ROM translates to space phenomenon, and this video seems to be a strange art project about the term. We begin to notice a recurring pattern. Those two words, the date January 1st, 2009, and a few phrases that read 17 UHR, Landworcester, 55, Darmstadt. Now I know I probably butchered those and I apologize. Anyway, it seems that it's trying to tell us, space phenomenon, January 1st, 2009, 5 p.m. in Landworcester and Darmstadt, Germany. Unfortunately, doing any digging on that date in history brought up little to nothing regarding any events involving space exploration or anything of the sort in these German cities. Honestly, the way that they present this video is just strange to me, and really leaves me wondering what the meaning truly is behind all the bizarre imagery and terms that they're throwing at us. The entire channel as a whole is just plain weird. The name is this. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm just going to butcher it. And they
Trumerzahi.
seem to
I
post
think I
strange
pronounced it right.
obscure art style
Trumerzahi.
videos that seem to make little to no sense at all. Also, they're in German, so it adds another level of obscurity given that you don't speak the language. All in all, the channel, while old,
What the fuck?
definitely deserves a look. Their content, much like Space Phenomenon, is filled with secrets that just might have a little more to them than we think.
Night call? Okay, wait a second. Ah, for fuck's sake.
This third entry involves yet another creepy Twitter saga that's been unfolding recently. The Sun Vanished is a very strange Twitter account that went live around 2 weeks ago. The story surrounds a person who's stuck in their house while they document their life as the sun is completely gone, with no signs of coming back.
Oh, I heard about this.
The account tweets daily, and each one seems to add a notable plot point to the story. Since its inception, the Twitter profile has garnered significant attention.
Nice
and
videos, what the fuck?
I'd just like to walk you through some of the notable points in this story, since it definitely is intriguing and completely disturbing. The story opens as such. Help. It's late in the morning and it's still dark outside. Where is the sun?
This afternoon, panic is taking hold on the nation in response to the sudden disappearance of the sun, with violent riots taking place in just about every major city. We are receiving an influx of reports of ransacking and looting from New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, and Washington, D.C.
What the fuck?
Incidents coming in hourly. The president made a public statement this morning urging people to remain calm and stay in their homes. Meanwhile, experts are claiming this phenomenon to be in a bit similar to New England's Dark Day in 1780, and that things will return next year.
The power keeps going out and I keep hearing noises outside. Sometimes far away, sometimes close. I can't sleep. I think the noises outside are gunshots. I went outside. I saw something out there I can't really explain, but I can show you.
What the fuck is that?
Something just flew over my house.
Flew? Aliens?
I just compared the sound of this video to the sound of the helicopter footage I posted a few days ago. Whatever this was, it was definitely not a helicopter. Thank God, one of my friends is still alive. He just texted me.
Alive? People dead?
Now we have another problem. This guy's been standing completely still with his back towards me. I have no idea how long he's been standing there. Whoever was standing outside is gone now. Shit.
What? What? Oh. Closet. Go to the closet.
Someone's screaming outside.
What did he say? What the fuck?
I can see a faint light outside my bedroom window. I'm going downstairs to check it out.
Why would you do that? Oh boy. The fuck is that thing?
I'm hearing noises outside again.
They're like monsters in Alien Isolation when they go red when they see you, or Soma.
I swear to God, it sounds like someone's banging on my door, but there's no way in hell I'm going downstairs to check. It got in. I don't know how it got in, but I'm hiding.
Don't open it. Don't open it. What the fuck? Is that a person with a green jumpsuit?
I'm sorry if I'm gone for a while. I have to stay hidden and keep my phone off. It produces light. I am so sorry. As of writing, this is where the Twitter account stops. I'm sure at the point of publishing this video, there's been quite a lot more that's played out on the account, and I implore you to check it out. If you do go though, just make sure you have the lights on. since we know that the creator of this account most definitely doesn't.
Give me a second. Just, you need to. Just lock my fucking door. Okay, that was genuinely terrifying. Why? So are there like... It seems like there's some sort of aliens that are... like attracted to light? And after... maybe they fucked up the sun? Because that was the biggest light. And they kind of are seeing just Earth because that is the light. Many lights come from Earth. See you later, Ensign. Okay. Let's continue. Anxiety war.
Anxiety War is a channel that I've been following for quite a few years now, and I want to talk about his old content. The channel is run by a guy named Zach, and while he hasn't done anything disturbing himself,
Twins?
he's had quite a heavy hand in exposing child predators, vigilante style, through his YouTube channel.
Cool.
Unfortunately, if you head over to Zach's channel today, you'll come to realize that his content has most definitely changed and his direction has taken a complete 180 from his old days of busting child predators online. While this is so, there is one video that he's left up and it's exactly how all of his old content was when I first found him. If you're curious as to why this channel has gone through a sudden change, the reason is simple. While Zach was successful in putting 7 men in jail through Anxiety War, he was actually sued by 2 of them. This basically threw him into the spotlight for quite a while as he faced these legal battles alongside police scrutiny for taking the subject matter into his own hands.
Oh fuck.
YouTube also cracked down on him, essentially, temporarily, forcing his videos off of the platform and onto his own site, anxietywar.com.
Okay, I kind of get it, but again, he's doing good. At least was doing good. But yeah, if someone gets hurt that is not even related to the subject matter, it would basically means he's responsible for not being a law enforcement and
Ironically,
doing something
that
about
URL now redirects you to his YouTube channel with his new content. Anyway, back to the topic of the original Anxiety War. Zach's format was simple. Disguise yourself as an underage girl or boy, go to online sites where predators are rumored to lurk, lure one to you by sweet-talking with them, and after days, or even weeks, agree to meet up with them. What the predators don't know, though, is that the entire thing is being filmed for a YouTube video, and that they're not actually meeting up with an underage kid at all. They're meeting up with Zach, who set out to expose them to the world and put them behind bars.
Oh boy.
Here's a portion of one of his confrontations with what he calls
You fucker.
one of the most bizarre predators he's ever encountered.
I could write a book about all the lies and misconceptions that you hear in the media and in the comment section, or I can encapsulate that all just by sharing one experience I had recently. And that was, someone said that I had become overweight. I've never really been too much in depth with this guy, but I think my experiences with him, what he has done, should be highlighted, unlike some of the other people that I've confronted, because this guy was the most bizarre predator I've seen.
Yeah.
And it was really crazy. I think everyone should see what all this guy has done. And I wanted to emphasize a point that I made in my previous video: how dangerous it is to confront him and how stupid it is, given that there have been real victims.
Graphic content. Okay. Yeah. Be careful. 67 days.
He said, "Here's a pic I won't get in trouble for." And in the very next photo, he unveiled what he was hiding and said, "Oops." I think that was a fairly good intro for him. He sent another photo. "I'm thinking there's nothing wrong with showing you a picture of my balcony." And there he stood.
He's gonna turn right, probably.
Okay.
If he turns right, that's our guy. Oh, dude, he's gonna turn right. It's him. It's him.
So far, just a generic piece of shit.
What he was doing was he bypassed Taco Bell and he went around the back, and he was combing the area behind Taco Bell. He was going through all these little side streets and stuff. I know the area very well. So I knew what he was doing, and at one point we went right by each other, and then I saw his face, and of course I'm just some 20-year-old in a car, but we bypassed each other. I thought, that's the dude, and I was just so excited. I knew I would see him at Taco Bell. Eventually, I knew eventually he would settle. I knew he had a lot to lose. I feared me saying, "Hey, dude, what you did is sick and wrong, and I know you did this, and I know you did that, etc., etc." I feared talking about that because I didn't want him to react a certain way. So I left it at that. I just said, "Hey, how you doing?" I'll show you the video.
Oh my god.
How's it going?
Where are you
going? All right, stay here. Wait, I gotta talk to you. He's leaving. What a loser. He's after the little girl.
Jesus Christ.
I'll link his entire video down below, and it's an incredibly interesting watch to see how this sick individual sent videos and photos to what he thought was an underage girl. Also, if you search the term anxiety war on YouTube, you can find re-uploads of all of his old content scattered around other channels. Definitely give those a look as well.
Okay, some of those dudes look a bit like... Yeah, some of those dudes look a bit like... pretty dangerous.
Why am I talking about this guy? Well, it seems that after Zach's unfortunate fallout with YouTube and the police, he seemed to spawn a movement across the platform known as the creep catchers. These people could be any ordinary person with a camera and a desire to expose creeps much like Zach did, and if you search the term on YouTube, you'll find creep catchers videos from all over the world. These guys have taken direct inspiration from Zach and turned it into something that's, while risky and illegal, a very noble cause. This should be setting off a red flag for many of you. Yes, there are creeps all around you, and yes, they could very easily be any everyday person that you might encounter. These predators all have lives and families, and it's evident on their Facebook pages that are usually shown after they're caught. What these guys are doing under all the ordinary Facebook lives and rushes of work and family is truly something dark and disturbing.
Yeah,
and it's unbelievably
disgusting
striking how widespread this issue is. These types of people also always have the cookie cutter excuse that they weren't actually going to pursue the child. Instead, they're going to teach them a lesson and educate them, blah blah blah. Creep catchers and anxiety war were on the right track, doing the work that the police wouldn't. While frowned upon in the US, hopefully someday we can create a system where willing civilians and law enforcement are able to work together to catch these creeps that lurk on the same internet that you might hand over to your children every single day.
Hell in Paradise Valley. Oh my god. Ugh. Hell in Paradise Valley.
Last week, police were called to the residence of a man living in Phoenix, Arizona to arrest a woman named Jacqueline Claire Aids. Aids was involved in a disturbing stalking incident with the man and allegedly turned violent very quickly. The guy, who's unidentified, apparently met Aids through an online local dating service. Through this, they hit it off quickly and went on only one date. Things began to get weird afterwards though. Aids would begin to endlessly text the man, going as far as to send him upwards of over 65,000 text messages, and he claims that she sent anywhere from 400 to 500 texts
Oh
per
my
day.
god.
Most of these messages were very disturbing, and she made insane claims such as statements saying that she would bathe in his
Oh, that's a
blood and that
yandere
she
if I've ever
wants his
seen
body
one.
parts. It doesn't even stop there,
What the
though.
fuck?
She then began to vigorously stalk him, showing up at his place of work and claiming that she was his wife. What finally led to her arrest was when the man was out of the country. She showed up to his home during this time frame, and he was only able to find out due to wireless cameras placed throughout his property. After witnessing her in his house, he called the police, who promptly showed up to find her there. They claimed that in her car that was parked in his driveway was a butcher knife, and she could have very likely had a disturbing intention for having it. She claims that she never intended to hurt the man and is facing intimidating, stalking, and harassment charges. There's another part of this that I'd like to share with you though. Recently, an interview has been released of her from prison where she makes statements that she was in love with him and that nobody quite gets it.
Uh-huh.
Take a look.
Jesus, look at her.
Did you feel a spark immediately? Talk about how you felt. I felt like I met my soulmate and everything was just the way it was, and I thought we would just do what everybody else did and we would just like get married and everything would be fine, but that's not what happened.
65,000 text messages. That's like
That's
next
it?
level stuff.
That's it? Girl, psychiatric. Go, just send her. What the fuck?
Seemed like more than 65,000.
To me, yeah, that's
Isn't that kind of excessive?
love is an excessive thing.
Just the way she breathes. For fuck's sake.
Oh yeah.
Are you a crazy person?
No,
Tell us, who are you? Like, what do you want?
I'm the person that discovered love.
I love her, but what the fuck?
The equation to light.
She's crazy.
Einstein discovered the equation to light is E equals mc squared. To finish that equation, everything we see is made out of light. Everything. And the composition.
Jackie, some of those messages don't sound like love. They sound like threats.
Everything is made of light. God damn it. Oh,
Love, not everything.
never, ever. What the fuck?
And I wanted to apologize. Because nobody would ever be more sorry.
Would you have really
Oh my god, she's so unstable.
hurt him?
No. I love him. So the rest of the equation is L equals 3.3. L equals 3.3 times E equals mc squared. And that's the equation of eternal love.
I can only imagine the kind of torment that this guy went through when dealing with her. This entire situation just goes to show that you never really know who you're actually meeting up with on these dating sites. You could, very easily, be unknowingly walking into your next real-world nightmare.
What the fuck?
Thank you so much for joining me in Volume 3 of Disturbing Things from Around the Internet. These have been some of the darkest finds that I've come across yet, and I implore you to follow the links in the description to check out these discoveries yourself. Let me know, which one intrigued or freaked you out the most?
This one so far
Anyway,
was
I
the
hope you guys enjoyed
weirdest
this
one.
installment. I'll see you in the next one. I love
And
you all.
sun vanished.
and good night.
Fucking hell. Where's your nightmares? Whew. Whew. Oh boy. Oof. It seems like... Oh man. Seems like most of you guys are like sleepy, so I'm going to cut this short and probably stream the rest of these reactions, part 4 through 12, but tomorrow around 4-5 p.m. or maybe 2 p.m. Tehran time. That would make more sense. But yeah, thanks for coming for today, and rest well if you could. I want to go till morning, but it seems like we have barely anyone here. But yeah, sorry. See you in the morning.